A letter to future Aezsh. Turn the volume up. I hope by the time you read this, you'll have things figured out better than I do right now. Everything's a mess, and we're in so over our heads. We've been hiking our way across this gloomy, frozen, forsaken place for what feels like forever, but surely it can't have been more than a week. I think. Kida is still out there somewhere with that bounty hunter, and every day we spend in here is another day she gets further away. And Mom, oh, please let us have rescued her and Mrs. Lightshiver. If the Mind Flayers get their slimy hands on the sort of technology that they can build, the sort of thing that killed me and Enid, there's no telling what they'll do with it. For now, though, I'm mainly worried about Enid. She's tied to this place in a way I don't think any of us fully comprehend. I'm concerned about what staying here so long might do to her. She's already demonstrated an unnatural ability to command some of the other entities here, and I don't know what that means. I know she hates the Raven Queen, hates that we're forced to be here right now on her behalf, and hates what the Raven Queen did to her in the first place. But without the Raven Queen, I wouldn't still have Enid. So I just can't hate her the way Enid does. I hope she'll understand. Things have felt a little weird lately, but then again, we did just find out that we have a half-sibling. I think we're both still processing that one. Hi, brother or sister. I don't know who you are, but hopefully we'll have met long before I read this letter again. As for our task ahead, these gleaming proto-elven, I think Ratha called them Eladrin knights, seem to be the ones laying siege to the Raven Queen's palace. I don't know how she expects us to take on an army, so hopefully there's some other way to free her than direct confrontation. I know Jir and Belloryn are eager to test their skills, but me? I fear another ordeal the likes of Ambrose Hill. They weren't there. They weren't the ones drifting into space, cold, alone, and suffocating, expecting never to wake up again. I don't know. Maybe looking back on this, these concerns will look so small. You, or, well, I, will have taken care of them long in the past. But right now, they're really overwhelming.
Hey! So good.
Very cool, Sam.
All right, you all are still in the Shadowfell. There's no twilight here. There's no light dark cycle. You've just been hiking until you got tired, resting when you're weary, and you encountered this patrol of Eladrin that took you into their care. Lieutenant Falias is in charge of the patrol, and he and his troops have led you to the edge of this massive lake, at the center of which is this palace built of ice, and has led you around the edge of the lake to what looks like a military encampment. As you proceed through the encampment, you see there are tents pitched here. There are actually a few like log style buildings as well. So you get the impression that this army has been here for a while. You see a handful of centaurs cruising around. You see these tall elven Eladrin, heavily armored in this gilded silver and gold, strange kind of plate mail outfits. You see a little patrol of brownies doing archery practice off on the side. And Falias leads you to an area that's kind of like it looks like it's kind of a central gathering space, like a parade ground sort of thing. And he turns to Ratha and says, Miss Umeril, if you would join me, please, to go speak with the general. You may, of course, bring your bodyguard. And he gestures at Jeremiah. The rest of your compatriots will be taken care of.
Very well then. Jeremiah, come.
As you say, Master.
The lieutenant leads the two of you off. The rest of the patrol ushers the rest of the party into a large tent. Pretty basic, canvas sort of tent. They ask you to step inside, and then they kind of take up station around it. So we'll kind of flash back between these two groups. So Ratha and Jeremiah, Aezsh leads you towards a log cabin style building. He dismounts and leads you inside. As you enter, it looks like there's a pretty large entry area, maybe 30 feet by 20 feet. On one side, there's a table that has like some, looks like some food, kind of snack things set up. You see that there's a centaur kind of dressed in a robe with a staff kind of nibbling on the snacks. Aezsh leads you past this entryway. You progress through a corridor. There's a couple of these heavily armored Eladrin warriors outside a door. He speaks with one of them briefly, and they go through the door. Shortly thereafter, the door opens, and Aezsh gestures you inside. You proceed into a room that looks like kind of a large office, maybe 20-foot square. Off in one corner, there's a table that looks like it has a depiction of the lake and the Palace of Ice on it. And you see like kind of troop positionings on this table, just kind of glancing out of the corner of your eye. And then you see that there's a large wooden desk and an elderly elfin-looking character sitting behind it who kind of glances up. He does a little like eye movement to dismiss Aezsh, who closes the door behind him. He gestures for you to sit at the chair that's in front of him. Jeremiah, he doesn't seem to acknowledge your presence.
I'll just stand like slightly behind Ratha.
Ratha's going to accept the invitation to sit down and politely wait for her host to start the conversation.
Well now. Lieutenant Aezsh tells me, Miss Umeril, that you are leading a group of fellows through the darkening wood towards the Palace of Ice. And, we can't be having that now, can we? So why don't you tell me a little bit more about that?
Well, you see, we are on a missive. We've gotten a missive and wish to go and speak with the Raven Queen. And I'm not quite clear why you are trying to obstruct such a reasonable mission. Perhaps you could tell me what your concern is in this matter.
Well, now, Ms. Umeril, my name is Belloryn. I'm the general in charge here. His Highness, the Duke Castaigne, has discharged me to be in charge of this force to protect the Palace of Aezsh from any interlopers who might attempt to interact with the Raven Queen. So I'm sure you understand my position here, that I cannot permit anyone to talk to the Raven Queen, certainly not sort of adventurer types such as yourselves.
And what is that supposed to mean? Adventurer types like ourselves? Is that? Are you looking down upon me, sir?
No, indeed, Ms. Umeril. I respect our elven cousins, of course, and I appreciate your position. I understand that the Raven Queen can get her nails into folks, and I understand you may feel obliged to participate in whatever she has doing for you, but I'm afraid you must desist and return from whence you came.
What is it that you're afraid that we will do should we interact with the Raven Queen?
Well, now, I can't say that I'm afraid of you all, Mr. Mail. If I was worried about you, I assure you I would dispatch Goristos to deal with you. But seeing as how I'm trying to be friendly here and help you out, so just why don't you head back on the way you came and take the rest of your compatriots with you?
Well, that would be a little bit of a problem, I'm afraid. We are not terribly well equipped to navigate the Shadowfell. Shadowfell? Is it Shadowfell? Is that right?
Yes, Shadowfell.
Okay. It would be very difficult for us to return from whence we came, and I have no idea where we would come out. And it would be much easier if we were able to perform our mission as intended and exit at a more planned location following our interaction with the Raven Queen.
Well, I understand. I respect that. I can dispatch the Lieutenant Phalias here. He and his guard can escort you past our lines and past enemy lines and get you back from whence you came.
So I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the rest of the group is thinking on this. I don't know how hard.
Let's flash to the rest of the group in the tent here. And I think it's fair to say, Kenneth, for your benefit, you can kind of understand like what they're saying so that, you know, you as a player can conceptualize what's going on.
Great. Thanks. Appreciate that.
All right, gang, you all are in this tent. You've apparently been captured. It's difficult. You're not quite sure how they're treating you as prisoners or guests. This tent does not have any like furniture. There's no food. It's kind of chilly in here. It's not a particularly warm welcome.
There are guards posted around the tent, right?
The guards escorted you in. Phalias's patrol kind of led you there, and you gather that they've kind of assembled around the tent, but they're not like within the tent with you.
So do we get a sense of where sentries might be around this tent? Is there
yeah, give me a perception check, Belloryn.
All right. Let's see. It's going to be 16.
Give me an Arcana check as well, then.
Okay. Another 16.
Okay. Belloryn, you're not able to pinpoint exactly where, but you do get the sense that there is some magic on this tent, and it would not surprise you to know that they have bugged it.
Ah, okay.
Right.
I would like to see if I can how tightly staked is it? Are there flaps, or does it reach the entire does it reach the ground? Is it pulled very taut?
I mean, not particularly. I guess. Are you wanting to like escape?
A little bit. I'd like this. I'd like to stealth around a bit.
Okay. Yeah. Give me. So you guys. What is everybody else doing? Belloryn's like looking around. Like you see, wheels are turning for Belloryn here.
I want to send out the raven and see through its eyes and ears and kind of like get a quick flyby of the camp and see like how many guards there are, what they're doing.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Which way the castle goes. So how does perception check work when I'm through the raven? Do I still get the +4 bonus from the raven?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Excellent. Ooh, I rolled a 6, so 14.
14. You send out Sharon. You see, it seems like this encampment is reasonably large. Not being a military person, you don't know exactly what this means in terms of number, but you gather that there's like hundreds of troops in this encampment, mostly Fae and Fae-related creatures. Around the tent where you are, the 5 members of Thalius's patrol have kind of encircled it. They have dismissed their horses at this point, so they're on foot. And yeah, you don't get the sense that anything is happening like on a grander scale because of your position here.
Mm-hmm. Am I able to tell where the is this encampment? Have they made like temporary walls for protection, or have they just put their tents here? This is where they are.
Oh yeah. So sending Sharon out a little bit wider ranging, you see that there is a road leading basically perpendicular from the edge of the lake that has a variety of barricades on it. So it looks like they are intended to resist an assault from away from the lake.
Interesting. Okay.
Aezsh, Falcon, Grikiki, what are you doing as Belloryn's kind of sniffing around and Enid just kind of looks off into the middle distance?
Which is not unusual.
Well, first of all, is there any light in this tent? Because that's going to make a big difference on whether or not Jir is actually doing anything or just standing there seething.
No, it's the same horrible shadow fell, you can barely see anything kind of problem. But you can see something. So again, it's not like pitch black. It's just it's dim light, and it's all it's like everything's dramatically lit. So you can see a little bit in this tent. You can see its shape and its outline and whatnot. Yeah.
Aezsh is going to sit down and pull out his book and start ritual casting Detect Magic.
Cool. So Jir Falcon?
Jir is just going to lean up against a wall or something, arms crossed, and wait for somebody to tell him what's going on.
Cool. Grikiki?
She's looking around at everyone, it is inscrutable to her what they are all doing, and she can't take any cues. There's no cues to take from what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So she's like, should we have let them take Ratha and Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Are they okay?
I don't think they were going to hurt either of them. Out of all of us, Ratha seems to be the only one they like.
Yeah.
Why did they take Jeremiah?
They probably thought that, I don't know.
Maybe to make us and Ratha feel better, to let them take what they might perceive to be the strongest one out of all of us with her.
Or maybe they know him.
Ooh.
Maybe. Who knows?
Elves?
Professor Aezsh did say something about the elves, yes. But I doubt that... I don't think these are the same elves, because they look more like that bound that we came across.
Did you guys see the horse people?
Yeah, I did.
I've never seen horse people before.
Yeah, me neither. Don't know what to make of them. Belloryn, you got something on your mind?
Well, this is more
go
like
ahead
something.
And give me a stealth check, Belloryn.
All right. That's 23.
Okay. You peel up the edge of the tent. It is not, in fact, staked down very tightly, and you kind of peer out. You see one of the patrol people to the right and to the left, but it's all dark here. So they're suffering under the same handicap that all of you, except for Aezsh and Enid, are in terms of visibility. So you think that you might be able to get the whole crew out of this tent without being spotted. Probably, not for sure.
Well, okay, I don't necessarily want to get everyone out. I want to see if I can get some kind of intelligence, and if caught, just plead ignorance. So I wasn't allowed. I wasn't supposed to leave.
So are you going to slip out?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but before I do that, I can cast Prestidigitation 10 feet away, which should be outside of the tent in the other direction, right?
Okay.
I want to create a shower of crackling sparks, like ground fireworks, little kitty fireworks, 10 feet away, and see if I can momentarily get some attention to make use of my my stealth roll.
Okay. So you guys all see Belloryn peering. Well, actually, do you? I don't think anybody. No, you rolled too well. You guys don't know where Belloryn is. Belloryn was looking around the tent and fucking vanished.
And then
Belloryn.
And crackly, bright lights. You know that could only be one person.
Yeah, you guys see some like sparkling like shadows basically through the tent wall here. As Belloryn, you do your distraction prestidigitation, and then are you just gonna like slip out into the camp?
I'm gonna slip out into the camp, and I am looking for some sort of tactical tent. I want to see.
Cool.
I want to see a map.
Okay, great. All right, let's go back to Ratha and Jeremiah. All right, Ratha. So you're talking to General Belloryn, and he is indicating that he will send Lieutenant Falias to escort you out of here.
Okay. When I was walking by the little command table, I'd like to know if there looked like there were any gaps or any exploitable areas in their in the kind of what they're saying.
Definitely. Maybe... Give me a perception check. This is going to be pretty high DC because you just glanced at it when you were walking by.
Cool. What's my perception? So that's a 19.
19. Okay. You're not able to identify any gaps. You did see the lake, the island with the palace on it. You saw like some like white colored figures on the board, and you also saw some like black colored figures that were outside of that basically. So Ratha, your dad talked to you a lot about military stuff because like you're in the Elven Fleet. He's an ambassador. Like war is diplomacy that's failed. So you know a fair bit about warfare. You know, old battles that your dad told you about. It looks like this army is encircling the lake, and that there is another army encircling them.
Okay. So Ratha's gonna continue. Are you sure you can afford to spare forces to escort us out? I'm not so certain that you're in a position to ration out troops away from dire fronts.
Well, Mizumel, that will be up to me to decide, and I think that it is worth it for me to dispatch you from this location. Now, of course, I could... if you insist, I could summon Goristos and deal with you in the most unpleasant of ways, but it is definitely my preference to not squash out such young, enthusiastic lives as yours.
It would be very disagreeable with myself as well, I assure you.
I'm glad to hear we are in accord on that point.
Perhaps you could... allow us to do a little bit of investigation, see if we can't perform our mission without breaching your perimeter, and if we so need to, then we may come back to you for aid in exiting this realm.
Well, Mizumel, I hear what you're saying, and I implore you to not attempt to circumnavigate my forces, or I will be forced to have Goristos end you.
I apologize for that perception. I am not trying to circumvent your forces. we have a mission out here, and we would like to achieve it. But if you will not let us see the Raven Queen, we will need to attempt it without conferring with her first. That is all that I was indicating.
Well, now, again, I cannot permit you to interact with the Raven Queen on any level whatsoever. So I'm asking you thrice now to quit your mission. I appreciate your young lives and do not wish to see them expended on such a foolish errand. If you need to consult with your servants, I will have Lieutenant Phalias escort you to their tent so that you may convince them of the import of leaving off this foolish quest of yours. But I assure you, you will not proceed beyond me.
As you say, Lord Plarian? Plarian. Then I will confer with my compatriots, and we will do. We will come to a solution for our current woes.
I'm glad to hear it. As I say, I do not wish to end such young lives as yours. You and your golem are dismissed. The door opens without a word. Lieutenant Phalias comes in and escorts you back out. Back to the tent. Belloryn, you're fucking you're just loose in the in this army encampment. Where are you going?
Well, I'm trying to see if there's any kind of command or if I can get a sense of just what the structure is.
Yeah, definitely. Give me an insight check, please,
Okay.
as you're kind of cruising around here, Belloryn.
All right. 19.
19. On a 19, you get the sense that this army has been here for a while. And by a while, I mean probably more than a year. You feel that the soldiers are a little bit tired. It seems like they're doing drills sort of by rote rather than because they think that it's important. You do get a sense of kind of anxiety as regards to the Palace of Ice, which you can see from anywhere in the encampment.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely get the sense that they are on edge, but kind of can't do very much about it.
Do I see any reasonable way across the lake?
Do you want to get up to the lake's edge here?
Not yet. I just want to see if there's a dock or anything like that. No.
Nope.
Okay.
You don't see any dock or any watercraft sort of thing.
Outside of the perimeter of the tent where they're holding us, all of these Eladrin that are just sort of going through the motions, do they even really seem aware that anything is going on here? Am I passing unnoticed just because of apathy?
No, you don't think so. You're just like really sneaky.
Okay.
You think if they spotted you, they would grab you immediately.
Okay.
All right, back to the tent. Aezsh, Enid, Falcon, Grikiki. Belloryn's gone.
Aezsh probably hasn't noticed. He's been casting.
Yes, he's casting.
Text
Yep.
magic.
Yep. Perfect.
And we
Did you
we
notice?
heard/saw shadows and.
Yes, some kind of sparkly. Yeah. Something happened outside the tent.
Okay. Grikiki's gonna burst out of the tent.
Okay,
Go.
great. Like
Belloryn.
through the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's Belloryn?
Okay. One of the Eladrin that's guarding the front flap kind of turns to you and says, "Did you say that in common?"
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Do you speak Elven, Grikiki?
Gosh, no.
Okay, they turn and say something to you that you don't understand. They clearly do not understand you.
Do I see the sparks, the fireworks?
No, it seems like it was just a flash and then it died out.
Okay. And I obviously don't see Belloryn anywhere.
Nope.
All right, with the call, the jig is clearly up. I'm going to use that bit of wackiness to climb back in under the tent and be like, "It's cool. It's totally
Awesome.
fine."
Okay, Ratha and Jeremiah join you. Aezsh, just as you're finished casting Detect Magic, you detect that there is, in fact, a divination magic spell cast at the center of the tent at the top of it.
Gotcha.
Ratha, Jeremiah walk in to join you.
Are you guys okay? Did they hurt you?
Other than our pride, no.
They are very set on us not meeting the Raven Queen.
Did you figure out what they're trying to do with the Raven Queen?
Yeah, why are they here?
It's not entirely clear, but it does look like they are not the only ones here. Someone else is outside of their perimeter, and I don't know who or what they are, but if we want to create an opening, it may be beneficial to figure out who is out there and if we can spark some tension between the two forces.
Who's on the outside?
Well, they can't. Well,
I think we should.
Maybe we shouldn't speak of starting a war.
I think we should, respect their authority, particularly while we are in their camp.
Subtly points up
Aezsh is like
at
glancing up.
Everyone, give me an insight check here, except for Aezsh, obviously.
Oh gosh! Everybody cross their fingers.
Yeah, he's just gonna be like, "What?"
Natural one, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, put it in the chat for me if you would, so I can see. Awesome. Yeah, Grikiki, Jeremiah, you're like.
Grikiki's like looking up at the top of the tent.
Enid and Belloryn are the only ones that clock what Aezsh is indicating.
We should be respectful of them in their quarters and not disrespect their authority, especially while we are inside their camp.
And this place is so boring. Let's go home.
But we have a mission, do we not?
Do we even know how to go home? We don't even know our way back out of here.
They did
Yes.
us
Well,
guidance.
once we're away from here, we can figure that out.
What did they,
Figure out
Ratha, what
what?
did they tell you? Do we have any way to get out of here?
They absolutely refused to let us through and threatened us with destruction if we didn't leave immediately. And they have offered Lieutenant Fallius's services in returning us to from whence we came.
Could we offer them something in return for letting us go through? Like we could fight the people that are surrounding them?
I think that all depends on who's surrounding them.
Do we want to engage in a war?
We have a lot of other things on our plate right now.
I don't think we want to be doing anything we're doing right now.
The point of the matter is we can't exactly make it, valid, yes. But I don't think we can plan anything right now. Not here.
Yeah, this isn't the place to have the discussion.
Well, we're kind of stuck here. There's guards outside the tent.
No, we can leave. We can leave.
I think they,
it's
in
really
fact,
easy
want
to leave.
very much to leave.
Yes,
I say
they
we
did
accept
offer
their offer to get back out in the direction we came from, and then we can find our way from there. But we should do that before we make our other plans.
Mm-hmm.
And I say in common, there's no direct way in.
Have we not
There's got to
Yes,
there's got
have
to
we
be
not
an
been speaking
alternate
in common
Huh?
the whole time? Have we not been speaking in common the whole time? Because I think a bunch of our people don't speak like Elven or.
Yeah, I think we can only speak in common.
I mean,
How
I think
we've been
that's our only
speaking
shared
common.
language.
So far, the Eladrin haven't spoken in common, and they didn't speak to Grikiki in common. So I took a look. There's not a good way to get to the castle, meaning that the entrance may not have anything to do with this area. Maybe there's something underground. I know there are countries that have underground tunnels under oceans to get from country to country. And so maybe if we get just outside of the perimeter, we can find some way in.
If I can, does the Raven Queen have any friends in the Shadowfell?
Enid, I think you might know the answer to this. Give me a history check.
I did do a lot of Raven Queen research before
I
graduation.
do a lot of Raven Queen research. Yeah, back in
History.
school.
It's my worst
Can I
thing.
assist with that since I was helping Enid with
Oh,
her
sure.
Raven Queen
Yeah, you
research?
were doing the bulk of it. So sure, roll with advantage, Enid.
Okay.
It would be sad if she didn't have any
Woo!
friends.
18.
Well, she did reach out to us, so what would
18.
you
You remember from your readings that the Raven Queen really, really hates intelligent undead, but has no problem using mindless undead. You also know that there is a race of creatures called Shadar Kai that serve her.
Interesting. Okay, I relay that to the group.
So something tells me the being we were warned of would definitely be
An enemy.
not an enemy of the Raven,
Raven
Queen,
Queen.
being an intelligent undead.
Indeed, but perhaps if she has other allies who could assist us.
Well,
Are the people surrounding this camp her allies?
I had the same thought.
Potentially.
They might not be.
Well,
Might
they're
be
probably
Maybe everyone hates the Raven Queen.
It might be two opposing armies that are fighting for who gets to take her on. Who knows?
Well, at
But I
the very
thought that
least, they
the-
don't seem to be friends of the Eladrin.
Enemy of my enemy is my friend?
It's not always
Sometimes.
the case.
You've learned from
Yeah.
your battle strategies class, Grikiki. I'm very glad to see it.
Thanks, Professor.
But practically speaking, the enemy of my enemy is probably also an asshole. So we want to.
Ah, you took the 2000 level class. I see.
Yes.
That had to have been the one taught by the headmaster. That sounds like his kind of
It
instruction.
really does.
Yes,
Point of the matter
you
is,
had-
though, we can't make any decisions here in this tent. So we either align ourselves somewhat with them, or we move on and figure stuff out.
Well, it doesn't seem like they're in the mood to ally, and it.
I mean, get the guy to come with us.
Well,
It also doesn't seem like these.
Maybe kidnap him
If
and
these
punch him a
Eladrin
bunch.
wanted us dead right now, I'm pretty sure we would be dead by now. There are a lot of them here. They seem to want to let us be and coexist. They just don't want us to progress forward, right?
They don't.
I am perfectly fine with getting out of here because the stench of authority is starting to choke me.
So-
That's an argument to stay here then.
So, Enid, did you get any sense of what it would actually mean to free the Raven Queen? I mean, who could keep her under lock and key if they really wanted to?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was hoping to get in and get out and be secret.
did-
Give me an insight check, Enid.
Okay. Terrible. 10.
Yeah, don't know.
They did seem very set in particular on us not speaking to the Raven Queen. They mentioned how she has a tendency to get her nails into people.
I think her nails are already kind of into us.
We don't
Enid,
really have a choice.
you've talked to her before, or rather, she's talked to you. Can you talk to her here?
That seems ill-advised right here, if such a thing were possible.
Well, we've got to do something.
Well then, let's leave this camp behind and see if we can't formulate another plan. Ratha's gonna go out and find Lieutenant Fallius.
Okay, Ratha, Lieutenant Fallius leads you back to the command thing. Jeremiah, are you going to go with her or not?
Yeah, I will.
Okay. All right, Jeremiah trudges along behind you. Go back to the tent. You see that the robed centaur that was here is gone. There are a couple more guards than last time. They escort you into General Plorian's office. He gestures for you to take a seat. He says, well, now, I understand that you all may be thinking about how you can help our endeavors, Miss Umair. And if you wish to join our army, I would not decline such, but it would have to come with some serious stipulations because you have to understand you are not particularly trustworthy folk at this point in my eyes.
And what makes you say that?
Well, the fact that it sounds like you're working for the Raven Queen is probably number 1, 2, and 3 on that list.
And how do you... Why has that changed?
Well, I understand you and your compatriots were having a discussion about this, so I wanted to offer it as an option to you.
So you've been listening in on us?
Well, but of course, Umair, you can't expect me to have an armed group within my camp that I do not know what is transpiring with. I never promised you privacy of any kind.
No, I expected privacy, and you simply disregarded that expectation. I'm glad that we can establish just how uncultured and rude you are as a host.
I'm gonna gently press my hand on Ratha's shoulder and kind of go,
give me a God, what do I want here, Jeremiah? Give me a persuasion check, Jeremiah. This is actually to help damp down Ratha's rhetoric to the general.
I need to switch dice. That's a 9.
Okay, I mean it's not a 1. The general kind of notices your hand on Ratha's shoulder, and he kind of scowls at you, says, "Well, now, Ms. Umair, I've tried to be gracious to you as a cousin to my people, but I understand that you may have different priorities, so I'm going to ask the lieutenant to escort you and your compatriots out of my encampment. I do not desire to see you again. If you attempt to engage with the Raven Queen, I will be forced to send Garistos in your direction. I hope you understand me."
I understand perfectly, sir. We will be out of your hair post-haste. That is precisely our intent in coming here.
Well, then you are dismissed. As you get up to leave, yeah, go ahead, Jeremiah.
I was just gonna ask if we are walking by that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Give me a perception check, Jeremiah. You, actually, the two of you are probably the most well-equipped people to understand this in the party. So go ahead and read me a perception.
Finally, a good roll. That's a 17.
Okay, great. I will give you the information that you get in just a second. As you're about to exit, General Plorian says, "Oh, and Ms. Umair, Did you happen to pass through an orchard on your way through the darkened wood?
We did pass through an orchard. Why do you ask, sir?
Well, I just like to keep track of who all Granny Weatheraxe might be interested in looking after. So, good luck to you and your compatriots.
I'm sorry. Who are we discussing?
Oh, it's not. I'm sure you'll find out.
And you would not disclose that information.
You know, Ms. Umel, I've not appreciated your attitude, so I don't think that I will give you that information. Good day to you.
Very well, sir.
All right, you guys head back to the tent. You see that Lieutenant Fallius's patrol has been reinforced. There's now 12 Eladrin, heavily armed Eladrin here. They mount up and escort you out, unless you're going to do anything different. And this is Granny Weatheraxe, to be clear.
Damn.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Convincing.
Kara, roll insight.
I'm the DM.
Are you guys going to do anything in particular, as you're kind of being escorted out of the camp here, or yeah?
I'd like to look at like the border of the camp as we exit, like
Sure.
where, like what exactly makes up the border of the camp, and does anything seem to change from the inside to the outside? Like, is there any noticeable difference in like the landscape or any of the flora, fauna that are
Got
outside?
it. Oh, and Jeremiah, so what you picked up from looking at the board with the figures on it is pretty much what I've described, like lake, palace of ice, encircling army, another army encircling that one. In addition to that, based on the like number of little figures that you saw, your impression is that the army that is encircling this one is probably a little bit smaller than General Pelorian's army.
Okay.
And in terms of like, you got the impression that there are a variety of types of units, like that both sides have like archers and cavalry and infantry. And it looks like, Jeremiah, from your like experience with military warfare stuff, it looks like a siege around a siege, basically.
Interesting. Okay.
Aezsh, so you leave the tent, that divination spell is still there. You see that there is a powerful divination spell around the entire lake. That you give me an Arcana check, Aezsh.
Okay. 11.
Okay, you're not sure what exactly this spell would do, but in order to be this size, it is immensely powerful. Some seriously badass magic user cast this thing. Other than that, in terms of the terrain and the fauna and whatnot, it looks like, again, this army has been encamped here for a while, so the ground is all like tramped down. The trees are cut, to be like stacking them up, etc. It looks like they've been kind of using the forest for building up, ramparts and defensive bulwarks and that sort of thing.
Were there any have we seen any signs of whatever this other force was that was
Give me
encircling?
give me an intelligence check, actually. Yeah, give me an intelligence check.
6.
Nope.
So Ratha would like to have kind of scope out any signs of conflict or like grave sites or discarded kind of equipment that's been damaged in battle, and see if there's any signs that this is an active conflict or if this is kind of a Cold War kind of situation.
Right. Yeah, I'd say no roll necessary, Ratha, with your background with military engagements that your father talked to you about. You get the impression that there is a détente here. You think that there might be occasional small skirmishes, but that there has not been a clash between these two forces.
Okay.
Grikiki's gonna try really hard to chat with our escort.
Give me a persuasion checker key for sure.
All right. It's a natural 20. That
Wow.
is it's probably not very much.
Grikiki
That's a
is best
20.
friends with everyone.
So you can't communicate verbally with them. So what does this look like on the part of Grikiki trying to ingratiate herself with your escort?
Gosh. Okay, well, she's gonna try it first just to talk to them.
Right.
And she's like, how long have you guys been here? Is it as cold to you as it is to us? Do you really hate the Raven Queen? And when they're like,
Yeah, they clearly don't understand what you're saying.
Quick question. Do I notice this?
Sure. I mean, Grikiki's not subtle.
Okay. Then can I translate to
Sure. Yeah, why don't you give me your persuasion then, Jeremiah?
Oh no. 14.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to use Jeremiah's then.
No.
So
what about Grikiki's friendly demeanor?
the friendly. Well, so that's why I was saying, like, if you can't communicate with them,
That's fair.
like the persuasion roll that you rolled is what it is, right? So if you don't want Jeremiah to translate, you can be like, smiley and like happy and bouncy and energetic and like ingratiate yourself in that way. But if you want to communicate with them, then that's going to be a different thing. So which do you want to do?
Well, she'll try talking at first, but if it's clear that they don't understand, or like, yeah, like when she can tell they don't understand, she's gonna like smile and like, what does she have that's cool? Point at her boots. Look at my boots.
Okay, cool.
And
So
she'll
you
do
do like a little like a show and tell.
Yeah. And then she's gonna like point at the Raven Queen's castle, like the Raven Queen's castle. That.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah. So Jeremiah, you like initially go over like hearing Grikiki trying to talk to them, and then you see her and like one of the Eladrin kind of smiles at her, and you're like, okay, Grikiki's got this.
She's fine.
Yeah, she's fine. All right. So yeah, Grikiki, you like give me an insight check actually.
Well, that's less good. That's a 6 altogether.
A 6. Okay. Yeah. Great. You act friendly towards the Eladrin.
Cool.
Okay, so Lieutenant Falius's patrol escorts you out. Anything else you guys want to do as you're traversing here?
Yes. So while Jeer's having to like depend on others just to be able to he's going to actually try to calm his mind as much as possible and close his eyes and see how well he can navigate by just concentrating on like what he can feel as far as like the texture of the ground under his boots.
Cool. Yeah.
And through the air, smells. He's gotten used to the smell of the cloak by now.
Awesome. All right. Why don't you give me a perception check?
Woo,
I rolled a 19, and so that's
very nice.
All right, Daredevil.
so that's 20,
Funny, 'cause I've been
so
watching
that's
that
24
right
perception. Hopefully, that's going to be
Ow.
really good.
Okay. Yeah, Jeer Falcon, you're able to navigate. You know what? Frankly, better than when you're trying to use the like horrible, dim, shadowy light that is in this place. So you managed not to trip and fall over at all. Okay. Yeah. Aezsh.
Are our guards like stoic, silent, just marching us along, or are they like talking amongst themselves?
Are they singing cadences?
They are not talking amongst themselves. Give me an insight check.
That was a natural 20.
Ooh.
So a 22 total.
Okay, so first of all, you get the impression that they're treating Grikiki not even like a friendly golden retriever, but like a friendly box turtle. Like it's a gross reptile thing that I don't really want to touch, but it's making like cute noises sometimes. Is what you're getting from them about how they feel about Grikiki. And Aezsh, this kind of aligns with what you would expect. Like the fact that they only recognize Ratha, right? They didn't even like acknowledge the existence of any of the rest of you. These guys are
even though like half of us are half elves.
yeah. Like that's even worse though. Like these guys are super duper racist, is your interpretation.
Gotcha.
So you're like not even sentient beings in their regard. And even Ratha is just like you're like kind of borderline. So that's one thing that you pick up. The other is they're certainly wary of you. You don't think that they are particularly afraid of you, and you think that might come from just their like baseline arrogance. You know, there are 12 of them, which is a pretty substantial number, outnumbering you. And from what Ratha told you, these guys live as long as elves do. So these guys are probably thousands of years old. And probably any one of them could take the whole party, you suspect.
I do have a quick question. While we're walking, I want to like look at the uniforms and the gear and the general, just like how they're walking of these guards. I want to see if they're like gear is unpolished, if things look kind of run down. Are they tired of being at war? Do they still feel the passion for the fight?
No, these guys are shining beacons of awesomeness. They've got this like beautiful gold and silver plate armor, which Belloryn could probably tell you why they're not wearing steel armor. But you haven't seen any like steel of any kind throughout any of the army encampment.
And they're only taking us to the perimeter, right? And then they're leaving us alone. That's the plan, right?
They were going to take us past they said they would take us past the enemy line, and
right.
And then
yes.
There you go.
Yep. But no, like these guys, their armor is polished. Their swords are sharp. They are eagle-eyed. These guys look like they are super keen on what they're doing.
Unfortunately for us, but I guess good for their military.
Yeah. Aezsh, anything else that you wanted on that insight?
I would say I'm curious, does it look like they're concerned by the fact that they're walking through enemy territory since they're taking us through the enemy lines? Are they worried about that?
Yeah.
Around, or
yeah.
Like,
they are much more anxious now than they were when they were taking you in.
Gotcha. Okay. So they are like definitely concerned about something, probably the fact of where we're at and what might
exactly. Yep.
Can I have said that I had, because I'm really nervous about them picking up on any Raven details, that I had Sharon, whatever his name is.
Sharon,
like flying not with the group, like he's kind of like following us in the air. Like
sure.
Cool. And then can I say I'm gonna grab do I want to do this hand? Do I want to do this? Yeah, I'm gonna grab Aezsh's hand so that he can lead me. And I'm gonna go into Raven mode, and I want to see if I can like sense any enemies to this group of people, to the Eladrin.
How far can Sharon go away from you?
Let's see, I can stay in 100 feet. That's not too high.
Yeah, it's not very far. Mm-hmm. I'd say that's kind of baked into your perception bonus.
Then I'm just gonna telepathically give him an order to go, because he can do it for 5 miles. He can follow an order for 5 miles.
Okay.
From me, so he can just kind of look around and see if any enemies are coming.
Got it. Okay, so you're gonna dispatch him on his own mission.
Yeah, and then if he senses anything, he can telepathically tell me such. But he has to fly back to tell me. He can't just go ping, ping, ping.
Right. Back. Okay, cool. Okay. So you guys are continuing on under Phalias's lead.
Are they in fact bringing us back exactly the way we came, or is this a different path?
Nope,
Yeah.
different path. Yep. They actually escort you down like the road that Sharon had spotted for maybe a few miles, and then veer off of it into the darkened wood.
Like the road that we spotted when we saw that army with the people in cages.
Give me an intelligence check, Dear Falcon.
12.
I mean, you guys have gotten a little bit turned around. It seems like it's the same like tamped road kind of earth. So it's possible it could be the same one. Okay, Enid, yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys think the army we saw earlier was these guys with the other guys as slaves, or the other guys with these guys as slaves?
Okay, so with Grikiki saying that, you all immediately are like, oh shit, yeah. That army was probably the bad. That was the bad guys. Those are the Shadar Kai.
That's the other army that's in.
That's the other army. Yep.
Wait, the Shadow Kai had the Eladrin as slaves, or the Eladrin?
Well, you didn't see any Eladrin as slaves, just general like people, halflings, humans, that kind of thing as slaves.
The Shadow Kai had the slaves.
But that army, they were definitely giving off evil vibes, and you're like putting two and two together. It's like, oh, yeah, that was probably the same bad guys that are encircling these good guys.
Huh.
And actually, Enid, Sharon comes back and basically confirms that. So Sharon spotted a couple of encampments of military units that look vaguely elfin, and basically, can't like pinpoint it for you because he doesn't like understand like directions the same way that you do. But there's another encircling army that you guys are like gonna basically try to weave through here.
Enid, I know we need to help you do this, but I don't feel like we're doing the right thing.
I mean, I could have told you that before we even started.
Grikiki looks briefly like really, really angry. She like scowls at the ground and then is like, all right, calm down.
Well, but do you really think you'll have no powers? I mean, you're not warlock. You're
take
give me a I don't know, insight. Yeah, give me an insight with advantage on this one, Enid. I'd say, based on your interactions with this creature.
I wrote down exactly what you said word for word. Just to flip to that portion in my notes here. But insight with advantage. I rolled a 4 and a 5, so 9.
That's man. Yeah, this entity is ancient and inscrutable.
Do any of the other like casters have any insight onto what the nature of like the source of her power and how that might be affected?
I probably know the most about what the innate arcane feels like.
Why don't you give me an Arcana check, Belloryn? Aezsh, give me an insight check or intelligence, whichever you want.
It's a natural 20 on that Arcana check.
Oh my god, okay.
And that's a total of 21 on that insight check. Or
wow.
I rolled a +2 insight or a +1 intelligence.
Okay, perfect. So Aezsh, you guys full on died, right? The only reason
mostly dead.
The only reason that Enid is alive, and I think Enid has told you this, is and based on what the Raven Queen told her, is the Raven Queen snatched her spirit out of the Shadowfell and kicked it back. So Aezsh, as you're sitting there dwelling on this, you think that reneging on this is gonna kill Enid.
Yeah. Okay. Aezsh is going to speak up and say,
and Belloryn, you come to that conclusion independently as well.
I don't think we really have a lot of choice, because I don't think it's a simple matter of her like taking some power away from me.
What do you mean?
We might not have explained this, but there was a time a while ago, like years ago, before we met any of you, where we died.
I beg your pardon?
There was an accident.
There was an accident.
Well, no shit. I figured you didn't mean to do it.
We were... Okay, so I'll try and boil this down. If you want to know more about it, we can talk more about it later. But long story short, there was an incident with a lightning cannon. And at this point, Aezsh pulls off his glove and like rolls up his sleeve, and you see like this like crazy Lichtenberg scar that goes like all up his arm, all across his hand. And Enid
will do it too on her opposite arm. She takes.
They're on opposite hands, and we got hit by a full-on cannon, and we died. And the only reason that Enid is even alive right now is because the Raven Queen prevented her soul from going on.
Why are you alive?
Because Enid used the magic that she had to keep me there. You remember on the boat? Remember when you got me back when I was frozen floating in space? It was a lot like that.
So you think if the Raven Queen took it back, Enid would die?
Yes. I think that's the only reason Enid's alive, and that if we back off on this and she takes back her power, I think that's it for Enid.
Do you think Enid would die if we killed the Raven Queen?
Do I have any insight on that?
Yeah, give me a history check with advantage.
All right.
Something tells me we're not ready for that particular task.
That's 7.
Nice.
You know what? It's a DC 5 to know that the Raven Queen is an immortal, nigh unkillable godlike entity. So I'll give you that one.
I don't think that's possible.
Then what are these guys trying to do?
Keep her there, probably.
Not sure they know themselves.
Well,
I mean, I don't think that if they thought they could kill her, I think they'd be attacking her.
So Ratha's going to speak up here and say that they said that they want to prevent anyone from interacting with the Raven Queen, and so I think they're trying to limit her influence.
I think that's exactly
right. Reach beyond planes.
Belloryn says loudly, "Any of you mooks speak common?" Is anybody?
What? A couple of them like look over at you. It's kind of like, you know, like you're sitting watching TV and you hear a dog barking and you're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Shut up." That's the vibe you get.
Okay, so here's something I noticed while on walkabout. They've been here for a while, but this isn't a permanent camp. If their job was to keep the Raven Queen in indefinitely with just no change in status, then they would be better fortified than this. And we saw that bunch of Shadar-kai walking slaves. Aren't we against that? You know, slaves? I mean, from what we've gathered, this is a fairly loose siege around the tighter one. If there were fewer and fewer of the Shadar-kai there, or if we brought back a few carcasses to the Eladrin as, see, we don't work for the Raven Queen. Here's a meat puppet. Just let us in to talk to her, and then we'll be out of your hair.
I something tells me that's not gonna go over especially well.
Well, let's do something, anything.
Enid,
because I feel like we're stuck.
What is the Shadow Queen? How is the Raven Queen's influence affected by the siege that she would need to be freed? She can still contact you, yes? In a different dimension?
Yes, but I feel like it takes a lot of energy for her to do it. She can't maintain it for very long. So I presume that it would be much easier that she could just do it at will and at her own ease if she were able to be free, I suppose. I'm not really sure.
Oh, I just thought of something. What happened to our guide raven?
Oh, you know.
As soon as you guys hit the edge of the lake, it flew off towards the Palace of Ice.
Well, we know she's there.
Helpful.
But we still can't do anything until we get away from these guys.
Right.
So I say we just walk until we're outside of the enemies, and then we make
Did their fortifications fully encircle the lake?
No, they did not. And Aezsh, thinking about that and the divination spell that you saw, you are guessing that divination spell is intended to alert the army of any attempts to cross the water.
And
Gotcha.
is the castle like in the middle of the lake, or is it like okay?
Yeah, I mean, you guys didn't get like too much into it, but the lake is not exactly a perfect circle, but generally circular, and the island with the Palace of Ice is more or less in the middle. It's maybe a little bit closer to the shore where the army is.
Gotcha.
If we free her, will she kill all these Eladrin?
I don't think we have any way to know what she's going to do. She's... In my research, does she strike me more as like the... sort of her job with like the Raven Queen's job is sort of like shepherding the souls through.
Yes.
Is her position more of like balance of like good or of like people passing on like they should, and I get to, and then her own like messing with it when she wants to for her reasons, or is it like using
give me an insight check on this, Aezsh.
That's a 10.
So in terms of actual knowledge that you have, you don't get the impression that the Raven Queen is like good or evil per se. In terms of like what she's supposed to be doing, you're not exactly clear on that. It would not surprise you if these Eladrin are misguided.
Gotcha. Like they think she's something or wants something or is doing something that she maybe isn't necessarily.
Yeah, on that 10 insight, that's probably the best that you're going to get is like, I don't know, like maybe people are confused basically because you don't have the impression that she is evil per se.
Gotcha. She's more of just like the neutral, like in between.
Right.
This is the realm in between what happens like when you're alive and dead.
Yep.
And it's just what happens. It's not like a good or evil thing.
Right.
Gotcha.
So my question to you guys is, so you know that you're going to pass by some Shadarkai. You think your escort's going to try to do it in a sneaky way. Like you get the impression that they do not want to tangle with these guys. So are you all going to do anything one way or the other to either facilitate silent passage or raise a fuss to try to attract the attention of the Shadarkai? Or are you just going to carry on with what they're wanting you to do?
Well, Grikiki will talk the entire time regardless.
Fantastic. Like loudly, quietly, or just like having a conversation with them?
She's going to be talking to her compatriots the whole time.
Okay, got it.
She has a lot of questions about the situation.
Yes.
Are we at this point? We've been here for what, a week, 10 days, something like that.
Yeah, about a week.
What's our mental state like?
Oh, terrible.
Well, yeah, it's not good. You got give me an insight check, Belloryn.
Self-insight. Oh, rarely
right.
indeed.
That's 16.
So you guys are all struggling a little bit. It's constantly dark. It's constantly cold. But you're a little more worried about Falcon. So it does seem like everyone's suffering. Furthermore, it's been a long time since you guys had a long rest because Thalias interrupted you, took you to the encampment and continued on. Again, you don't know about the passage of time, but you guys are starting to get tired. And if you don't get a rest soon, you're going to start to take fatigue.
So my, I think Belloryn is feeling like it's time to make something happen, because we've been here long enough, and there are other places to be if we're going to spin our wheels here. We are now in full wheel spinning mode, and so if like vaporizing a few Shadarkai and leading them on a merry chase away from the circle sort of disperses the need for this second siege super, or if there's an alternate way into the castle super, but there's a need to accomplish something.
I have a quick question. With what Belloryn said, and for these Eladrins, the goals here that they're escorting us, is the implication that they are going to escort us to a place where they will watch us leave the Shadowfell, or are they just taking us out of the perimeter and then they're going to be like, bye? Don't come back?
I'm pretty sure they told Ratha that they would escort you past the enemy lines.
And that's it.
Full stop.
And then they'll just leave. Okay. Because the Shadowkai might know something. They might. Talking to them might be helpful. And so if the Eladrin were going to just see us out, then causing a fuss might have been ideal. But if they're not, we can always find the Shadowkai later and do it without, as soon as they're gone, we just be like, yo, Shadowkai, where are you at? And then hopefully they just come to us in a general kind of way, in a casual kind of situation. But either way, it could be fun. Starting a war. Someone's got to do it, right?
Enid was able to control those wolves and other creatures, right? So presumably that would be a good way to either contact the Shadowkai or indicate that, hey, we're on the side of the Raven Queen. Help.
Right. And even though they don't necessarily seem to be the best of people, use them to get the job done. Then after that, when the threat is over, see what we can do.
Maybe they'll be weakened by the battle, which will make it easier to free the enslaved people.
Perhaps. But if anyone knows a way into the castle that's different than the direct one, it's going to be her soldiers.
Oh yeah, I guess let's let them escort us out and then see who we can make contact with.
Okay. Grikiki, did you have something to add?
I was just double checking that was all in character.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I assume you guys are talking amongst yourselves, the Eladrin are out of earshot, so that you can kind of convey to each other all the information that you need. And presumably Jeremiah, Ratha, you guys told everybody else what you encountered in the log cabin and vice versa. So I think everybody's up to speed.
Okay.
Okay, so you're not going to do anything pro or con with regards to your escort, just let them do their job.
Just get them away from us so we can get some work done.
Okay, great. Let's see. Ratha, give me a 2d10, please.
2d10. That is 8. 5 and 3.
8. Okay. You are proceeding through the darkened wood, and you get up to an area of, like, generally the ground is just kind of dirt, covered in leaves and pine, whatnot. The ground opens up to a little bit of a clearing, but then extending beyond that clearing, it looks like an area of sand, which is very different looking than the dirt and whatnot that you all have encountered before. Your escort kind of pauses and they look a little bit unsure about how to proceed. It's a pretty large area. It wouldn't be impossible to go around, but it would be a little bit inconvenient. Do you guys do anything with this, or let them figure it out?
So it's just sand?
Yes, it's a little bit of clearing, and it's sand. And you can give me a perception check, Grikiki, as you're like, is this just sand?
Stand like Anakin.
2.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, it is just super duper dark. So you can see like a little glint of kind of shadowy light every now and then off the sand, but that's it.
Have we seen anything like this? Any sand or any unusual terrain, or has it been pretty consistent terrain?
Yeah, give me a nature check, Ratha.
Nature. 23.
Oh, wow. Anywhere else, you think that this might be quicksand. You're not sure in the Shadowfell if it behaves the same way, but it sure looks a lot like quicksand to you.
Okay. I want to approach Lieutenant Fallius and ask him, Lieutenant, is this quicksand or some similar kind of natural phenomenon in the Shadowfell?
He kind of looks over at you and frowns. He says, don't know, I haven't seen it before.
How far does it extend into the distance?
It's difficult to say because, again, it's all shadow and darkness. So you could ask Aezsh and Enid potentially how far they can see it. But as far as you can tell, it is just as far as you can see. Fallias, Ratha says to you, do you believe it is dangerous?
I would not want to risk it, particularly if you have not encountered it before. Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, how long would it take to detour around it?
Fallias looks to the left, looks to the right. He shakes his head. He says, I do not know the extent of it.
Are there any rocks nearby?
Yeah,
rocks?
for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Jeremiah is going to grab one and then just kind of chuck it out into the sand.
Okay. Aezsh, Enid, you guys see Jeremiah chuck out a rock into the sand, and it hits the sand, and it just kind of sits there, and then it shifts a little bit, and the two of you see a hand emerge from the sand and grasp the stone, and then begin to pull itself out of the sand.
Yeah.
I think this is a big problem. This isn't quicksand. There's something else under here. Does it seem like the Eladrin can see that, or is this like
they don't react to it? But as you say that,
can I turn and say in Elvish, because I do speak Elvish? I'm like,
okay.
There's something crawling up out of that sand.
They all draw their swords. I don't think you guys have seen these swords before. They are weird looking. They are bright silver, and they all emit a distinct glow, actually very similar to Agapios. They extend about 2 feet straight, and then the blade sort of curves. They look a little bit unwieldy, but wicked sharp, and they all draw these same bizarre sickle-looking swords.
So like Cradle of Civilization style swords.
Yeah. So they all draw their swords and they're looking around as you say that, Aezsh.
Are the hands like crawling out, or is this just like dead people at the bottom? They'll just grab you if you try to.
No, now you see that there are 6 beings crawling their way out of the sand, and looks like they're heading your way.
Cool. I'll just say, careful. There's 6 of them in Elvish. Get ready.
Okay. So are you guys going to give any indication about what you intend to do in this time?
Grikiki draws her sword.
Okay. Let's see. Enid, let's see. Passive perception here.
It's 18. Well, nope, it's 14 because the bird is flying.
Oh, because Sharon's not on you, Ratha.
So Ratha is highest right now.
Ratha, when Grikiki draws her sword, you notice one of the elves kind of catches it in the corner of his eye and does like a double take sort of thing. Okay, so if you guys do not intervene, these creatures crawl themselves out of the quicksand and your Eladrin guard falls upon them. If you want to join in the battle, you're welcome to. If you want to slip away while they are distracted, that also may be an option for you. What do you guys want to do as they are kind of fighting these undead creatures that have crawled out of the sand?
We can join battle and attempt to ingratiate ourselves to them.
Grikiki will do that unless anyone tells her not to.
Yeah, I guess she's already drawn her sword, so she's pretty clear.
Just wades right in. Great.
Can I take a look around and see if there's anything else in the environment other than the quicksand?
Yes. Give me a perception check, Jeremiah. Again, it's all just darkness as far as you can tell, but...
I see nothing.
Okay. Great. And where is Sharon during this, Enid?
I just told him to be flying around and seeing if anybody was going to converge on us.
Okay.
So, yeah. I was specifically asking for the Shatterkai, but maybe he would tell me if others would come.
Yeah, so Grikiki, you hop in the fight. Belloryn, you join as well. The Eladrin make pretty quick work of these things. And it's relatively quiet, but nonetheless, Enid, Sharon reports to you that he spots some movement to your east.
Okay,
and headed your direction.
Cool. To the ones of us that did not join in the battle and who are sitting right here, I'll just tell them there's something coming that way. And if I look that way, do I see anything?
Not within 120 feet.
I don't know if it's friend or foe, it's just something's coming. If we want to get out of here, I think we can make that happen. But Grikiki and Belloryn are in the battle.
Is this battle still ongoing?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, shoot.
I know.
Are we around any like foliage or trees or cover?
Yeah, there's trees all over. It's a pretty dense wood.
Aezsh is going to call out to his compatriots. I think we should start going. And he points in the opposite direction from where Enid said that the things were coming from, like away. He's pointing away from them, saying, "I think we need to get
looking for. So we need to go.
I think we might need to get going."
Okay.
And he starts pointing that way.
Okay. Belloryn, Grikiki, you hear Aezsh saying something like, it sounds like he's saying it loud enough to try to communicate with you. But you guys are in the fight next to these Eladrin against these undead things.
I mean, if we don't have that information, then we'll continue
All
forward.
right, great.
How tough do these Eladrin seem now that we're like fighting alongside them?
Yeah, give me insight with advantage, Grikiki.
17.
It looks like they have a range of competence, but they're reasonably good. Like you're fighting next to one of them. He's on a horse. He's hacking down with this bizarre curved sword, and you're like, you're almost like, I kind of want to fight one and see. You know, like because it might be close for that guy. You see, Phalias is like he's almost dancing around these things and just like carving them to pieces, and you're like, that guy would cut me down in a second. So some of them you're like, I might be able to take, but a couple of them are like, they are incredibly, incredibly badass.
There's no one who seems like we could definitely take him.
No.
Oh.
No. Okay. So Enid. So no other action. You guys are just hanging out until the battle finishes. Yeah, Jeremiah.
I'm gonna kind of step behind a tree and kind of keep looking around towards the direction that Enid mentioned.
Okay.
I will I'm probably still holding Aezsh's hand, but go into the raven and then to 100 feet towards, so I can try to see through the raven's eyes what is coming, whenever it gets.
Yes. Give me a perception check.
Oh, I'm terribly today. Well, plus 8, 17.
17 is not bad.
Yeah,
You see about a dozen humanoid shadows flitting through the forest.
Cool. Like, okay. Like shadow beings, or they're just moving so fast that all I see are shadows.
They are shadowy shapes. They don't seem to be made of shadow the same way that the things that fought you with the Wendigo were.
Okay. These might be the Shatterkai, I say. I can't see or hear you guys, but I say it.
Okay. I'm gonna start moving to the not like running far away, but just getting on the side of the battle where they're. I don't want to be in between these two forces when they arrive.
Smart.
I want to be on the back side of this when they arrive.
Okay, awesome.
Can I cast? Okay, I'm gonna exit Raven mode. Can I cast message at Belloryn?
Sure.
I'm just gonna. Is there a word limit to message, or can I just?
No.
It's like,
okay, just a short little message. Okay, I'm just gonna say, Shatterkai are on the way. Battle could get worse. You might not want to be in the middle of it.
Got it. And then tap to Grikiki. Let's bug out.
all right. Okay. So how do you guys want this to unfold? So there's about a dozen entities heading towards you. You could put like the Eladrin between you and them. You could help the Eladrin, or you could help the bad guys, or at least put yourself in a position to help either one of those. Where do you want to position yourselves?
Well,
Do we have cover in between? Are there trees?
There are trees. Yeah, so it kind of depends on what you want to do. If you just want to like be away from any engagement, you can absolutely get behind trees, some large boulders, etc. If you want to help either side, then like you can be behind cover and casting spells and using ranged attacks and that sort of thing.
I was thinking more along the lines of setting an ambush and maybe getting in some surprise strikes before actual battle
Who are we
ensues.
attacking
against
them?
whom though? Because
Jira is actually
Please be
going
very
to.
specific.
Yeah.
Please be very specific.
Here's how specific I want to be. The Eladrin are assholes. They're not trying to kill us, and we've been morally suspect enough while in the Shadowfell. So potentially we can, if there's a Shatterkai ambush and we're waiting on them and can ice at least a few of them before the Eladrin start to fight, gain the respect of the lieutenant, and then maybe we've got some options.
That's one plan.
the Shatterkai
I
are the
can
ones
think
who
of
work for
another.
the Raven Queen. If we want to
Do we
find
know that they
back
were
way in. Yeah, that's
For
what.
the Raven Queen, or is
Say
it
again.
are the Shatterkai like subjects of the Raven Queen, or do they like directly work for the Raven Queen? Or are they just like in her? I guess I was asking, are they like just another faction here, or are they like specifically allied with the Raven Queen?
Oh, I see. No, I think you figured out on your previous roll. They are like her primary agents in the Shadowfell.
Gotcha.
And Enid, you see the figures starting to come into your view. They are these ashen-faced, elven-featured creatures that you expect are the Shadowkai. They are consistent with the descriptions you've read.
I don't think the Shadowkai are the ones we want to fight, as much as we might hate them and disagree with their methods.
Jeremiah's just gonna stay behind the tree until someone starts attacking our allies and then shoot them.
Valid.
Jira is going to speak up for the first time in a while, and say there's an option where we may not have to do any fighting at all, but we can still get to the Raven Queen.
Oh?
Okay.
Speak up.
We capture a Shatterkai.
What would that do?
How does that help us?
We take them away from the battle and persuade that Shatterkai to lead us to the Raven Queen.
Okay, I'm 95% sure that they would just take us to the Raven Queen if we asked.
Why take a chance?
Why?
Because
that
why
seems like
torture
less of a
people if we
chance.
need to torture people? That seems like...
Yeah. Why do the bad thing? We could just... I don't understand this logic.
Perhaps removing ourselves from this combat
Sure,
entirely
you're okay. This
might be the
you
best
seem
call.
Oddly torturous.
off. You seem a little off. Are you all right?
I don't know. I think this place is starting to grow on me a little bit.
I think we need to get you and everyone else out of here, but I'm concerned for you, man.
Well, I still think getting our own Shatterkai is a good idea.
Really I have to disagree.
All right. Belloryn's changed his mind. Let's bug out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there a world in which we can just peace out of here while this
If
fight
we
is
want to
going?
peace out, I have many ideas.
We're living right in the middle of it. Let's just go.
Ratha can cast Pass Without a Trace
Sure.
again,
That's
and then I
exactly-
can cast Darkness, and so they can't, even if they look this way, they can't see us. And I can make Darkness go extra far, because I've got special Darkness.
Yeah, you guys could definitely make that happen.
Okay.
So, so I guess that's a fourth option. So, just hide on the other side of the battle, help the Eladrin, help the Shadowkai, or just bail.
Personally, I think we need to get to the Shadowkai's base. We don't necessarily have to do it with this fight.
Yeah, maybe we
think if
don't
we
get
just-
to them in the middle of a fight. We can get to them
Yeah,
when they're
we can
not
just
actively
leave and
fighting
then-
somebody.
Find them.
Perhaps
We're
we
close.
know where it came from.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. And
Move
see if we
around
can
behind
find
them.
find where their base is. Because I think talking to them is definitely the way to go, and not torturing them.
Fine.
Agreed. No, we don't
Potato.
torture. We don't need to torture anyone. I know you took some of Augerfort's like extended special topics classes, but we don't need to torture anybody.
Is
All right.
Falcon's gross cloak making him crazy?
Quite possibly.
I think that's
I think that's
entirely
okay.
possible.
When
It's not helping.
when Aezsh cast Detect Magic, did the cloak light up?
It did not. But you all really dislike it, right? Like it is smelly and very unsightly.
I mean, it's like dead skin that he just ripped off
Yes.
a creature we murdered,
Yes.
and then just was like, okay.
Hey, Jer, I think we're trying to get away. They might be able to track that horrendous stench. You should toss that so they don't follow us here.
Oh, really? I hadn't noticed it anymore. I hadn't noticed it.
Oh, we all do. Trust me,
Eh.
we can all smell it.
Okay.
Point of order: if we talk much longer, we're not going to get a choice.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
All right. Jir just discards the cloak and walks along.
Okay.
He's
All
in a
right.
surprisingly good-
So no problem with Enid's shadow magic, Ratha pass without trace. You guys are able to nope right out of this fight. So you're pretty thoroughly turned around right now. You might, if you have, I think Grikiki and Ratha have survival. You might be able to figure out a direction that you came from, or how to get back. but what's your plan at this point? So you guys go far enough away that you lose the sound of battle entirely.
Well, I think we wanted to leave. Sorry. I think we're going to say something.
So track where the Shatter Kai came from?
Yeah,
that.
I was thinking we could see the outcome.
Like loop around and follow back the way they came.
Got it. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Ratha. Give me survival with advantage if Grikiki's going to help you.
That's a natural 20 on the second one.
Hey.
Gotta go back up to this. So that's survival is +7, 27.
Okay, no problem. Ratha picks up the track with Grikiki's help. You guys are able to follow the trail. Let's see, where are you? So you follow the trail for a while. I'd like everybody to give me a Constitution saving throw at this point. DC 10, please.
Ooh, natural 1. 5.
Oh, that is not
14.
good.
Oh, twinsies.
Not a good one to be a twin on.
Twinsies.
Y'all gotta share everything, don't you?
Yeah.
Aezsh and Enid. Aezsh and Enid, after that exertion and hiking for a couple more hours, you guys are getting super tired. You have a level of exhaustion. As you come up through the forest, you hear sounds of let's see, how do I describe this? You hear sounds of like a large group of people milling about, emanating kind of through the forest. It's still beyond, Enid and Aezsh's dark vision. You really can't see anything.
Perhaps moving forward quietly will be.
Also, if we're attempting to approach them to talk with them, doing so not in a threatening manner with swords drawn, please. Glares at Gerfalcon for wanting to, torture people.
I'm fine. I'll keep the weapons away this time.
Okay, you guys kind of get to the edge of the forest, and you see another military encampment. It looks actually kind of similar to the last one, but except instead of like red and gold sort of canvas, it's all like black and gray and silver. You see a variety of these Shadow Kai walking around. You see a couple of basically like a platoon of zombies, just like 20 zombies, just like in a block formation, kind of marching around. This looks like the Shadow Kai encampment.
I mean, I guess I
Is there
can go
like
first.
an obvious point
Yeah, that's a good
approach?
idea since you're the ambassador to shadowy, creepy things.
It looks like there is a road. It looks like there is a road, and if you had to guess, this is a continuation of the road that heads to the encampment of the Eladrin as well. So you could like go opposite on the road and approach from that direction.
Wait, so like we could? You're saying like the road connects basically between the two camps?
Yeah, and then also goes beyond to parts unknown.
Oh, so we could circle around and come from the opposite side from the Eladrin.
Right.
So
exactly.
It looks like we're not just bouncing in from Eladrin country.
Yep.
Let's do that.
Sounds like a good plan.
Okay, great.
Give us a chance to observe them on the outside, what we can see.
Yeah. So you guys circle around, and you get on the road. Approaching from the road, not trying to like conceal yourselves at all. It looks like there are a couple of guards posted to watch the road. They emerge from the shadows as you approach the camp, and glare at you. These two tall, elven-looking creatures. One of them says, "Halt!" Who goes? In Elven, or Elven dialect, rather.
Right. I'll just reply. The Raven Queen sent for us. We're here to set her free.
Okay. Enid, you step forward and say that, and you see this
they're probably
guy's
enemies, aren't they?
drop. He is like...
Cool. I love them.
And he is absolutely gobsmacked. He looks at his companion, and they quickly go into a super deep bow and says, the Shadowth! Yes, mistress, please come.
No, I don't like this.
You guys go on.
Yep.
These guys are
we're
way better
following
than the
you.
Eladrin.
I was gonna say my little people I was good with, they sucked.
And to think we almost ambushed them on the road when we just got here.
It's just not that part.
The two guards people escort you, and like everyone that they pass, they're like the Shadowth, and like all the other Shadowkai like look at Enid, and they're like, ooh, and yeah, it's like, you know, full on celebrity walking around. Everyone is absolutely starstruck. Looks like people are super excited to see you.
I'm doing entourage kind of things, like those people, random people who follow Jay-Z around.
Can I tell like what it is they're calling her or saying in reference to her?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a intelligence history check on this. Pretty high DC. There's an obscure piece of lore.
Pretty hard because I am exhausted. So
oh yeah.
Can I assist?
It is not gonna matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think realistically, Aezsh and Enid are the only ones that could get access to this knowledge.
It was a 3 and a 7 with a +4. So,
yep. Yeah, don't know, some kind of title. So the Shadowkai escort you around to a larger tent than the others. They speak to some guards that are outside. Those guards go in. And then another Shadowkai kind of exits. He's got some like rank insignia on his shoulders, and he looks like momentarily frustrated and irritated about like what the hell is all this. And then he sees like, you know, this horde. There's probably a couple hundred of them at this point that are like surrounding you in this tent. And he looks at the guy that escorted you, and then looks at all of you, and then looks at Enid, and his eyes just go wide, and he says, "Shadowth, you're here!" And we will call it there.
Oh boy.